Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something critical, something that, honestly, demands immediate attention. We're talking about why supply chain decarbonization isn't just, important, but genuinely essential for your business, like right now. And just to be clear, when we say decarbonization, we mean strategically cutting down and eventually getting rid of those greenhouse gas emissions tied to everything your products and services touch in the supply chain. The IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, they've been incredibly clear, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. Crystal clear.
That window we have to avoid the really catastrophic climate impacts, it's closing fast. And, while big national policies get the headlines,
Sure, they always do.
the real engine room of the global economy, these huge complex supply chains, that's kind of the overlooked battleground in this whole thing.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is the sheer scale we're actually dealing with. When we talk about supply chain emissions, we're mainly digging into what are called Scope 3 emissions.
Scope 3, right, the indirect ones.
Exactly. All those indirect emissions across a company's entire value chain. Think upstream, downstream raw materials, making things, transport, even how products are used and disposed of. And this category, Scope 3, well, the estimates are it accounts for something like 60 to 80% of global greenhouse gas emissions.
60 to 80%. That's
It
staggering.
really is. It directly connects what you do, what your partners do, to the planet's future, and frankly, to your business's own survival.
For so long, sustainability often felt like a nice to have, maybe.
Like a separate department's job or just a paragraph in the annual report.
Exactly. But that time is it's over. Mostly because the impacts aren't theoretical anymore, are they? They're hitting the bottom line hard.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, the urgency just jumps out at you. We're seeing these unprecedented weather events actively, messing up global trade.
Like what specifically?
Well, think about it. Massive floods shutting down major ports, vital logistics hubs just stopped. Or extended droughts that wreck agricultural yields, impacting raw materials. Or even extreme heat waves affecting workers, sometimes shutting down factories.
Right. These aren't just headlines anymore.
Not at all. These are direct, real threats to business continuity, to your profits, to the actual stability of the supply chains we all depend on every single day. And it makes tackling those Scope 3 emissions, measuring and managing them, even more vital.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, I think. This massive challenge, it's also potentially a huge opportunity, right?
Exactly. That's the crucial flip side.
The companies that are thinking ahead, they're seeing decarbonization not just as doing the right thing, but as a real competitive edge.
Yeah.
It's how you build resilience against all those disruptions we just talked about.
And meet customer demands.
Right. Customers want transparency, eco-friendly options. Investors, too, with ESG becoming so important.
Attracting talent as well.
And finding new efficiencies, cutting waste. It's basically about future-proofing your business. Though some might argue, look, decarbonization right now, that's just another cost we can't handle. What's the response to that, especially when you talk about competitive advantage and efficiencies?
That's a really important point because, historically, some green initiatives were seen purely as costs. But the thing is, ignoring the climate reality now, that's the much bigger financial risk long term.
So inaction is the real cost.
Precisely. The time for just tweaking things, incremental change, that's past. We need transformation. And the core of that is actively understanding, really carefully measuring, and then radically cutting the carbon footprint buried in those Scope 3 supply chains.
And that means practical steps.
Absolutely practical. It's about using new tech, maybe AI, for better demand forecasting to slash waste, or blockchain for tracking carbon transparently. It's also about genuine collaboration, working with your suppliers, not just dictating to them, finding shared savings, and embracing innovation, rethinking product design for a circular economy, maybe shifting to more local sourcing. Imagine, say, a company redesigns its packaging, cuts the material weight by 20%. Suddenly, they've cut transport emissions and they're saving a load on shipping costs.
That's a clear win-win.
Exactly, driven by decarbonization goals.
So wrapping this up, what does it all really mean for you listening? This deep dive, it's not just abstract talk about saving the planet. It's fundamentally about building stronger, leaner, more efficient, and, more sustainable businesses.
It's about securing your place in a world that's changing incredibly fast.
Couldn't agree more.
And maybe, as you think about all this, consider one question for yourself. Forget the big headlines for a second. What's one specific, maybe even small, impact the climate crisis has already had on your own supply chain operations? Something you perhaps haven't directly linked to these decarbonization efforts until now.
That's a great point to reflect on, something tangible.
Yeah, makes it real.